We absolutely need to stick together. It's hard today not to have a little bit of a smile on my face because we are losing our governor. I can't tell you how difficult she has been to work with. And it's not just the Democrats who think that. So I am so thankful that we are going to see some change. I want to tell you another thing that I'm seeing that's changing at the state level is I'm seeing so many more people interested in running for higher office. I know a lot of times that we've kind of dug around and it's been kind of hard and the enthusiasm hasn't been here and people haven't seen a lot of opportunity. But now we have 3 Democrats who are talking about running against Joni Ernst. I think that's great. We have 2 talking about running for the 3rd Congressional District. We have somebody in every single congressional district, I believe. This is exciting. They're looking at the statewide offices, the auditor, Secretary of State. We have people talking about doing this way out this, we're not going to be digging next January. We're these people. The Iowa House has a member who is going out and recruiting members to people to run for the Iowa House already, which, quite often doesn't get done this early, and there's enthusiasm for it. There's enthusiasm because things are pretty bad, which is sad. We're seeing so many bad things happen. We don't know about our state budget, and part of the reason we don't know about our state budget is we have no idea what's happening at the federal level. It's total chaos. And when things get this bad, people become enthusiastic and they want to get involved and they want to fix things. I'm not happy that it's bad, but I'm happy to see the enthusiasm, and we've got some really great candidates. It's been a long legislative session, but that's nothing real new, so I won't go through a litany of what we have been doing. A couple of positive things, but mostly negative. So excited to see a lot of people who want to come out. So thank you for being here. Grab some friends, because we're going to need a whole bunch of people to get out and work this next election cycle. So thank you.
I think Linda said she's coming.
So, I'm Linda Merkins, Troy County Supervisor in my 2nd term. I think we all have heard many times the quote from Mark Twain, the reports of my death are greatly exaggerated. I would say 2 things. The reports of the Democratic Party's death are greatly exaggerated. Look around here today, look at all the people who are here, it's good to see you all. And the second one is the reports of the death of local government are greatly exaggerated. I want to thank our legislators for working so hard this session to try to undo or mitigate damage, to try to keep damage to a minimum. There are people Republicans in the legislature who have done whatever Kim Reynolds wants done, and what that has hurt is local government and it's hurt state government. We are not going to continue to let that happen in this state, right?
Right.
Okay, this is the group that is essential to not letting that continue happen. We're going to have an opportunity to change state government. We're going to have an opportunity to continue to strengthen local government. I want to tell you how it has been such a joy to work with Lisa Heddens and Latifah Faisal, Ted Rasmussen, Lucy Martin, Sheriff Fitzgerald, Tim Mills. I almost said Tim Finn. That's an old name, isn't it? I would do that a lot, Tim Mills. We have a great team, and who did I miss? Good, I didn't miss anybody. We have a great team of elected officials, Democratic elected officials at the county level. It has been, like I said, a pleasure of my life. Thank you for letting me serve you, and thank you for letting me continue to serve you.
Still on. Good morning. I'm Supervisor Lisa Heddens, and one thing I want to echo is what Linda said, is it has really been a pleasure to work with Linda and Latifah. We get a little messed up at the office, or people at times get us a little confused with Linda, Tifa, Lisa, and then you add in our auditor, Lucy, and then our planning and development director, Leanne. So we always say at county government, it's run by the L's. You know, one of the positive things that we have at the county level is we all really do work well together. We've been able to manage a strong budget for the county. We've been able to lower levy rates because with assessed values that keep increasing, we don't look at saying, oh gosh, we've got all this extra money and go for a money grab. We really look at what we need for the government to run smoothly so the constituents can access what they need. So that's been a real positive. It's also not the mental bickering that goes on oftentimes down at the state level. There's really a good collaboration and cohesiveness. We've all kind of figured out our expertise in various areas, so that's where we kind of gravitate to and then come together and discuss where those issues lie. But I want to thank you all for the support that you've been given. I've come from the state level down to the local level, and it's really nice to see things come to fruition. At the state level, you make those plans out there, and it may take for implementation or to really see the progress at such a longer length, where at the local level, you see that through and be a part of that at that local level. So I appreciated your support through all the years. I look forward or hope for that continued support moving forward, and thank you all for coming out this morning.
We're ready to get started again. Hi, Ross.
Good morning, Story County. Good morning. Good morning, Story County. So I'm State Representative Ross Warren, House District 50, the part of Ames that Beth doesn't cover. And so glad to follow Lisa Heddens, County Supervisor, because I followed her to the House. I represent the seat that she represented, although it's a different number now. So Beth already talked about the excitement on Friday with Governor Reynolds not seeking another term, but I just want to give you the reminder that we're still in session, and she's still governor for until the fall of next year's elections, right? And so there's a lot of work to do between now and then. There's a lot of bad things that can still happen at the House. The great thing is we've seen a lot of organizing going on the past couple months. And the hands-off demonstrations that went on across the country, across the state, in this county, and just down the street were phenomenal.
So a lot of you there.
Yeah, a lot of you were there, so give yourselves a round. And thank you so much, Maddie, for being willing to serve as chair again. Let's give Maddie a hand. And everyone all these central members. This is about organizing. This is about reaching out to folks who aren't here. It's about reaching out to folks who may not be registered as a Democrat, right? And we've got to tap into those resources. It's been great, representing you, and the work that you all do helps enable, us at the state legislature, Beth and Herman, to not only be here and present, but to go to other parts of the state to help draw in folks who don't have a representative, or senator, but they are represented because you put us there, and the work that you do enables us again to go out and do that. I was just in Davenport about 3 Saturdays ago. It was a nonpartisan event. The NAACP, LULAC, the Quad Cities Ministers Association, a couple of others put together an event. The press said there were 50, but I took a still, kind of like we did, it cropped it, and I only got part of the room, and there were 50 in that shot. So I think there are closer to 70 people there. But people are motivated. They're wanting to see change. We've been talking in the House and our state party about putting people over politics. And you're the people that will help us keep there. I want to thank Cole for the table that the ISU Democrats had at the over in the free speech area on campus, and Herman, Beth, and I were there talking to students, and it's that individual conversation that we have to keep pressing, telling people register. I've been telling people on campus, just register. Think about the issues, and I'm confident the Democratic candidates will shine from that. But we've got local elections this fall. They are nonpartisan, but you know, whoever's going to be running for re-election or new folks running for school board, city council, we've got to get them. That's a great way to practice your organizing skills, but also, at least in terms of electoral stuff, but it's the stuff you do between now and this fall and next year and on and on. So lace up your shoes. It's a marathon. We've got to deal with what's out there, but also with what's in front of us. So thanks for your involvement. While everyone's up, if there's any community events that we need to be at, let us know. We'll make sure one of us is there.
Yeah, I'll have a lot of events I'll announce here when we get done hearing from our elected officials.
Well, I'm Herman Kornbach. I'm the state senator from District 25. That includes almost all of Ames, but not all of Ames. Ames has grown so much it doesn't fit into one Senate district anymore. I also have Grant Township, so I still have a little bit of rural area to cover. Yes, we do. We're going to need all the help we can get, this fall for the local elections and going into next year to try to win a lot more seats in Story County and broader than that. Now, this is a very difficult time. This is a time that try men's souls. And there are a lot of women who are pissed off too. We need to take our state back. We need to take our country back. There are threats coming at us from every direction you can think of. At the state level, public education is being starved to death financially, while at the same time hundreds of millions of dollars are going to the voucher program to help well-to-do families who can already afford to send their kids to private school, to subsidize them. Next year the income cap comes off. Next year, kids who come from families, is this still working?
Yeah, you're good.
Next year, families that are earning $200,000, $300,000, $500,000 and on up, they're going to get subsidized. What we're really going to be seeing is the re-segregation of our public schools, of our school system, the haves versus the have-nots. At the state level, there's a bill that's going through that threatens the Medicaid expansion that we did a decade ago on a bipartisan basis. There are restrictions on civil liberties. There are proposals at the for the universities to require courses in American heritage, but to prohibit those courses from talking about institutionalized racism. How do you talk about American history and not talk about slavery? How do you talk about American history and not talking about women's suffrage? How do you talk about American history and all the other civil rights and civil liberties battles that we have fought? Those battles are some of our proudest parts of our history. We didn't start as a perfect nation, right? Read the preamble to the Constitution right after we, the people, to form a more perfect union. They knew that they weren't perfect, all right? And the next thing after that was to establish justice. Well, they don't want us to talk about social justice anymore. We have to take our country back. Well, the good news is we're starting to do that, all right? Back in January, I spent a couple of pretty cold Saturdays driving over to the Mississippi River, over to the town of Clinton, knocking on doors for a special election for the state Senate. This was in a district that had been vacated, a seat that vacated by a woman appointed to be lieutenant governor, all right, high profile. It was a district that they thought that they could give up that seat and not lose it. It was 20-something% for Trump. Yeah. Well, a lot of people showed up over there, knocked on a lot of doors, got a great candidate, truly a great candidate, and we won that seat. We took it away. And a month or so later, there was another special election down in the southeast corner for the vacancy of the House. We didn't win that one, but we took a district that had been 20% or more for Trump. We only lost it by 4. Okay? A couple of weeks ago, I was up in Sioux City for a couple of town halls. I just sat in the audience for one, and 4 Republican legislators were up there, only one Democrat, but you know J.D. Scholten, and you know that he got the better of them. A forum sponsored by the League of Women Voters and the NAACP, and those Republicans, half the things they said got booed. And then later that same day, we turned out another 100 people for a forum that we put on. 3 of us Democratic senators came up there, didn't represent the area, but drove all those people in. Yeah, there's something happening here. There's something happening here. Last Saturday, what did we have? 1,200 people over at Van Shell Park. And I think they've got another visibility thing going on today.
19th.
We need to turn out next Saturday. You know what next Saturday is?
No.
On the calendar, it's the 19th of April. Anybody open their history book?
It was the beginning of something.
Yes, it was the beginning of something, a little get-together, shall we say, a little confrontation in a couple of towns in eastern Massachusetts. Emerson wrote a poem about that. It began, by the rude bridge that arched the flood, their flag to April's breeze unfurled. Here once the embattled farmers stood and fired the shot heard round the world. Well, we're not going to be firing any shots literally, but boy, we need to get the revolutionary spirit going again. We need to take our government back. We need to take our society back so that we can have good public education, so we can have medical care for everybody, so that we can have justice, so that we can treat the people who are visiting this country as immigrants, whether students or whatever, so we can treat them with decency and justice, and we can bring them into this society to contribute to our economy, to contribute to our society. We are a nation of immigrants. That has always been a strength of ours, and we must retrieve that position. It depends on you. It depends on everybody. All right? Ben Franklin, you know the story. When he was leaving the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia, some woman in the crowd asked him, "What kind of government have you given us?" He said, "A republic, if you can keep it." We need to keep the republic we have. We need to reassert our basic values. We need to respect the Constitution. We need to reassert the rule of law. The national government doesn't respect any of those things. He said he wanted to be a dictator on day one. Well, some funny thing about being a dictator, when you become a dictator, you don't ever want to give it up. We got to take it back. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being energetic. Thank you for being involved. Thank you for joining the movement to take our country back. Next Saturday, let's have one hell of a get-together to further move our movement forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so,
There's a question back here.
yeah,
Do people know when and where they're supposed to show up next Saturday?
we're going to talk about that in just a second.
Okay.
Latifa, and don't let me forget, but we want to return to some business of the odd-year caucus when we finish with our elected officials, so I kind of made a note, but go ahead.
Is it still?
I don't know, it's something that you can stand here.
I think it matters where you stand and how
okay.
loudly you speak into
So that
it.
it doesn't.
Hi, everybody. Latifah Faisal, Story County Supervisor, and I will make it brief, but just to sound repetitive, I can't say enough about how wonderful it is to work with Lisa Heddens and Linda Merkin. We work well together. We are not in competition with each other. We are all there to serve the better good of everyone in the county. And I can't thank everyone enough for being here this morning. And I think what we've heard is there are a lot of bad things going around. But I don't think it's just Democrats that are upset about these bad things. These are people things. These are things that matter to everybody. And so I think it matters, those conversations that we have with people, that we're not making it necessarily about party things, Party is important, absolutely. And I'm grateful to every single one of you for being here this morning and for being a Democrat and for fighting for Democrats. But right now we're talking about people things. And when I talk to people, it doesn't matter if they're a Democrat or a Republican, they're upset. I've been at conferences, we've been at several conferences recently. I've sat with Republican supervisors who are just as upset about all the shit that's coming out of Des Moines right now. And so I think more of those conversations that we have with people about people things will move the needle for us. I think we all care about our schools. We all care about our seniors and our nursing homes and making sure that people have access to health care and their Medicaid and their Medicare. And we all have family members that we care about and that we worry about. And it doesn't matter what letter is after your name. It matters about people. So if we just keep talking about people, we keep focusing on people, we keep bringing people in and not making it first about party, making it about people and the things that are important to them, we will bring more people with us. And that used to be what Democrats were, right? We were the big tent. We wanted everybody in. And what that machine wants is for us to believe that we are in the minority, but we are not. There are more people who care about these things. They're just throwing as much at us as they possibly can to make us tired, to make us sad, to exhaust our emotional energy. But it's not gonna work because we care about people. We care about people. So thank you.
Thank you.
I don't need the microphone.
Okay, just yell.
Yeah, I'm just going to yell. This was a big win. This was a seat vacated by Brett Barker, who defeated me in the general for the House, but I'll be back to see him again sometime. We had the second highest turnout in Nevada's history for a mayoral election. So there's a lot of energy, like Ross was saying. We're seeing this all across the state, and we certainly saw it in Nevada. So thank you, everybody, in particular Barb Wheelock helped me a ton. We just have to keep going. So thank you, guys.
Give me a second to update my stuff here.